in the vast world, among the three realms, this is the world rich in vitality, the one that immortals long for. Here, the strongest from various realms gather, seeking the ultimate destination. Here, just a step away, one can become a deity and complete the long-desired transformation. Here is the final station for immortals to connect with the divine. Duantiania, a landmark of the vast world, floats high in the sky, a staggering 1,000-meter cliff, where the area surrounding Duantiania is filled with a powerful and aggressive, high-concentration vitality field that repels any approaching beings. Many cultivators driven by desire have become part of Duantiania. This is one of the 5 forbidden places in the vast world, usually rarely visited by people. At this moment, hundreds of figures float in the distance. Their expressions varied, yet their gazes are all focused on the Duantiania, shrouded in pure vitality mist. Even in a world filled with strong beings, these individuals are renowned figures, cultivators of the 5th level or above in the Fate realm, representatives among immortals, each controlling several levels of cultivation, capable of shaking the heavens with a stomp. At this moment, everyone holds their breath, gazing at Duantiania, as if it conceals the secrets to connecting with the divine. The vast world, the immortal realm yearned for by countless mortals, possesses the most abundant vitality among all realms. Regardless of which realm, civilization, or cultivation method, those who have undergone numerous trials ultimately step into the vast world. Only here can one shed their mortal shell and attain immortality. Here the pursuit is the divine. No matter the level, there remains a distinction between strength and weakness. What is the way of heaven? Man follows the earth follows heaven follows the Tao, and the Tao follows nature. What is nature? Survival of the fittest, the strong survive. In any realm, cultivation resources are limited in the vast world. At this final stop toward becoming a deity, competition reaches a boiling point, and the strongest are undoubtedly the 5 demigods. The term demigod refers to those who have grasped a hint of the profound way of heaven, the strongest immortals who are just a step away from success. Undoubtedly, they occupy the areas with the richest vitality in the vast world, coveting the moment of becoming a deity, while also being coveted by others in a cycle of reincarnation. However, for millennia, there have always been demigods, yet no one has been able to take that step. Until the Devil God Wang Tian emerged from seclusion after 100 years, mastering the 7 veins reincarnation great technique, finally changing the landscape of the vast world that in 3 years. Wang Tian challenged 3 demigods consecutively. 2 of the holy cultivators fell, 1 dead, 1 injured, and 1 demigod of demon cultivation was devoured, his soul extinguished. The top experts from various sects were defeated in droves, and in an instant, the invincible might of Demon God Wang Tian completely overshadowed the entire vast world. Now, Wang Tian faces the last and most special demigod of the vast world, Heavenly God Shan, an anomaly from a lesser world. Only Duantiania is worthy of being their battlefield, and only demigods can enter Duantiania. If Shan is defeated, there will be no rival for Wang Tian in the vast world, and he will become the closest person to the divine in 1,000 years. The pursuit of ultimate power has many methods, but the essence is the same, all about the possession and use of vitality. Holy cultivators advocate exploration and learning, believing that there must be a path to connect with the divine in nature, just waiting for cultivators to seek it out. Demon cultivators are essentially the same, but the difference from holy cultivators lies in their willingness to employ any means to enhance their power, such as devouring others. Vitality as a shortcut. The third type, which is quite rare, is cultivation. They may be seen as the lunatics among cultivators, as they practice in a self-destructive manner to counter the way of heaven. Thus, most cultivators are reclusive, which is considered an anomaly in the competitive world of cultivators. The brutal competition has also led to the lineage being quite fragile until anti-heaven God Shan entered the demigod realm. Outside Duantiania, there are whirlpools of vitality that can shred immortals, but inside Duantiania lies the purest vitality, though this vitality holds little significance for the 2 demigods. Wang Tian stands with his hands behind his back, blending with his surroundings, capable of proving the way of heaven with a simple gesture. The great path is singular, whether holy or demon cultivation. Both ultimately lead to the comprehension of the way of heaven, culminating in becoming a deity. This has been validated in both sects, providing invaluable experience for future successors. However, the highest achiever among the lineage is none other than the anti-heaven god Shan Demi-God, is already the pinnacle of your cultivation. Shan's full head of red hair appears somewhat disheveled. 3 days have passed, yet his expression remains calm. Wang Tian gazes up at the sky, as if facing not the last opponent on the path to becoming a deity, but an old friend. At his level, power, beauty, and wealth have all become trivial. What remains is an increasingly fervent obsession with the way of heaven and boundless loneliness. The last one to seek out Shan is not because he is the strongest, but the weakest. Even Wang Tian did not expect that Shan was actually the strongest among the other 4 demigods, perhaps even slightly stronger than before he entered seclusion. Unfortunately, today he will be lonelier, for thereafter he will have no rivals, solely focused on the way of heaven, waiting for the moment of becoming a deity. Shan, surrender your fate, and I can allow you to restart in the vast world and ensure your safety for 500 years. Wang Tian said on, his voice already carrying in almost divine authority. I in the vast world. Only Wang Tian has the qualifications to say such things. Anti-heaven, ye king, Shan remains indifferent, and upon hearing this, the corners of his mouth curve into a slight arc, calmly gazing at Wang Tian, as if appreciating something. You can guarantee nothing. Looking across the vast world, this is also the last person daring to deny him. This is an opportunity, Wang Tian replied with a slight smile, neither refuting nor confirming, but it is indeed a fact. If Wang Tian does not become a deity, Shan loses his value. What does it mean to become a deity? No one knows, but Wang Tian's words of protection can indeed be of considerable use. Seeing Shan remain silent, Wang Tian appeared even more patient. When I mastered the 7 veins reincarnation great technique, I glimpsed the path to connecting with the divine. But I did not take that step. Do you know why? This experience is undoubtedly what every cultivator dreams of knowing. The road of cultivation is fraught with difficulties, and a moment's carelessness can lead to failure. The experiences of those who came before are the most precious references. For the Demon God Wang Tian to share insights on the path to connecting with the divine is simply unimaginable, and the one sharing this knowledge is his final enemy. Because you are missing half. Shan's cold face seemed to reveal a sense of reminiscence and longing, tinged with a hint of regret. Since his emergence from seclusion, Wang Tian's invincible confidence wavered at this moment, his eyes bursting with light that could pierce the heavens. How do you know? Because I'm also missing half, Shan said with a hint of self-mockery. The difference is your half can be compensated, while my half can never return. Wang Tian was finally moved because Shan truly understood. This person had seen the path to connecting with the divine even before him. Unfortunately, as he said, he could compensate, but Shan could not turn back. Anti-heaven is ultimately a sin. I must thank you. You are the first person I have to thank since my birth as Wang Tian. The demon god could no longer contain the joy in his heart, because once he kills the opponent, he can grasp the essence of the anti-heaven cultivation. The so-called path to connecting with the divine requires first compliance and then resistance, gaining strength by following the heavens and using that momentum to counter it, thereby becoming a deity. From the very beginning, Shan was mistaken. Shan shook his head, who is still uncertain. Wang Tian knew that the opponents still had their fated divine sword unused, but he was confident he could defeat anyone. I've long wanted to experience the unspoken sword of the rebellious god. Today, my wish is fulfilled. This is the happiest day for me. Wang Tian. Indeed, Wang Tian should be happy today. Shan floated a very simple long sword in his hand. Just like Shan himself cold. Serene, he gently caressed his sword, and even the unmoving face of the rebellious god showed a hint of tenderness. As a sword cultivator, the sword is life. In the brutal training of a cultivator, is their only companion, their kin. Similarly, in front of Wang Tian, there is also an ancient-looking long sword, its blade filled with the domineering aura of being the only one in the universe. This was the Demon God Wang Tian's sword, the sword of time. As fellow sword cultivators, this was an unavoidable battle. Buzz. Wang Tian lightly flicked the sword, producing a thunderous sword sound. Time. Remember, your opponent is called unspoken. In this world, Shan was the first and the last to be called an opponent by Wang Tian. The sword energy soared into the sky, seemingly to tear the heavens apart. The indomitable energy field of Duantian Cliff was also cut through by this astonishing sword energy. Cultivators miles away at Duantian Cliff turned pale at this moment. They personally experienced the meaning of disparity. The two strongest divine swords in the vast world were finally going to settle their score. Wang Tian could spare the sacred cultivator Li Xiaoyao because the latter was a talisman cultivator, but when two sword cultivators met, only one could survive, or they could both. Perished at Shan's gaze was fixed on the unspoken sword. Suddenly, his red hair flared up, and his primal energy surged violently, shaking the heavens and earth, as if the world was about to fall silent for the unspoken. The demon god's eyes were also filled with excitement. This was the opponent he desired, and Wang Tian finally understood why Shan chose this place for the battle. Because Duantian Cliff, like him, was a rebellious existence, and Shan could indeed exert his strongest power here. The entire Duantian Cliff continuously transmitted power into Shan's body. Even such heavenly power could not stir the unspoken sword at all. Just like its master, it remained reserved and silent, silently resisting everything. At this moment, the power condensed on the unspoken sword was enough to create and destroy worlds. The cultivators around Duantian Cliff instinctively began to avoid the direction of the sword energy. Without a doubt, this was a fear driven by instinct. Who could have imagined that the power of the rebellious god was so formidable? This was definitely beyond semi-divine power. Gradually, Wang Tian's expression became serious. The sword of time in his hand did not accumulate power like the unspoken sword, standing proudly outside the world, high above. Shan's eyes suddenly widened. The Tao is heartless, my fate goes against the heavens. Boom, the unspoken sword fell like a towering divine sword, making the faces of the surrounding cultivators turn ashen. This strike could not be resisted even by the combined efforts of many. Could Shan truly defy the heavens and change his fate? At this moment, Wang Tian wore the brightest smile, clearly appreciating this strike, filled with genuine admiration and regret. If heaven has emotions, it would grow old. The myriad paths are full of vicissitudes. Time is heartless. The sword of time seemed to slash out from another world, silent and unbound by the rules of this interface. The power to create and destroy worlds was so fragile in the face of its arrogance. How could an ant defy a god? Shan's mouth had already been pierced. This was the might of the demon god. The drawing and sheathing of the sword was only a matter of thought, a great supernatural technique. So that's how it is. As long as I seize your divine status, I could become a god instantly. Ha ha ha. The sky echoed with the mad laughter of the demon god. Boom, boom, boom. Duantian Cliff was exploding. The unparalleled might of the unspoken sword could cut through the heavens, but could not help its master slay the enemy. The chaotic, explosive primal energy could not harm the demon god in the slightest, and even avoided him. The key was that Wang Tian had already understood from this strike what it meant to defy the heavens. I pass, I must thank you. At this moment, Wang Tian realized that if he closed himself off for another 100 years, he would have a tenfold assurance to break through the divine path. Shan's expression remained indifferent, as if life did not exist. I pass, who thanks him is still uncertain. In this world, who can stop me? In the heavens and the earth, only Wang Tian stood supreme. Suddenly, an irresistible force of law descended from the sky, enveloping everything to this realm. The only thing that could constrain the demon god Wang Tian was the power of law. After all, no matter how close one got to godhood, one remained human. Wang Tian's expression changed. You intentionally provoked the heavenly tribulation. Shan did not look at Wang Tian. I have no way back. You want to borrow my experience, and I want to borrow your power. Our hands, combined with your enlightenment, are enough to trigger the 81 tribulations of the great heavenly cataclysm, more than enough to deal with you. The enlightened Wang Tian was already a demigod. At this moment, what he needed to do most was to hide his power and avoid the heavenly tribulation to comprehend strength. However, the outpouring of power from Duantian Cliff had left him nowhere to hide. The original target of Shan's strike was not him, but to cut open Duantian Cliff. Did you do all this just to perish together with me? Wang Tian found it somewhat ridiculous. Shan's body was fading away, even a semi-divine body could hardly withstand time. Yet, Shan's expression completely relaxed. At the time of the Heavenly Tribulation, it is also when the power of law is at its weakest. You don't mean to let your fate borrow the opportunity to enter the lower realm? Even if you truly succeed, a fate without a master is merely a wedding dress for someone else. Wang Tian was furious. If he obtained Shan's fate, he would immediately become a god. But without it, who knows how long it would take. Meanwhile, Shan had exhausted great effort and even risked his life, only to give the most precious fate to someone else. Give it away. You don't understand. You will never understand. A hint of sarcasm appeared at the corner of Shan's mouth. Although the great paths have different routes leading to the same goal, they were never on the same path. Hurting others for personal gain is demonic. Hurting others without personal gain is ya. Hurting oneself for the benefit of others is called the ultimate ya. Ya cultivators are meant to rebel. Born in the most powerful demonic cultivation order of the vast world, Wang Tian, who became a demigod in just 200 years, could never understand Shan, who took 100 years to exhaust his efforts from the small 1,000 worlds to the middle 1,000 worlds, then another 100 years to the large 1,000 worlds, and then several hundred years to become a demigod. This was considered miraculous speed in the lower realm, an unimaginable miracle. Yet in the end, it still came to nothing. The 81 tribulations of the great heavenly cataclysm were here, divine might covering thousands of miles, all the power and might converging on Wang Tian. At this moment, Wang Tian was too preoccupied, using his demigod power to fully resist the heavenly tribulation. As long as he could block it, he could still become a god. When the power of law fully activated the great heavenly cataclysm, it was also when the power of law was at its weakest. After all, a demigod should not be underestimated, and only then would the untouchable rules of the vast world show a slight gap. Only then could the destinies that were only allowed to appear in the vast world cross the constraints of the law and enter the lower realm. This was the greatest rebellion. A red light flew out from Shan's body, shooting straight into the clouds and disappearing in an instant. Without the support of fate, Shan's body rapidly disintegrated. Was the way of heaven? Shan's gaze began to blur. This was the first question he had ever asked his master. Back then, he was just a child, and he had walked step by step to today. He had experienced too much, and time weighed heavily on him. But he, without regret, becoming a god? Immortal? Unrivaled in the world? No, that is not the true meaning of your cultivation. The method to become a god is meant to be scorned. This is rebellion. Master, I have succeeded. Shan looked up at the sky, and a smile finally appeared on the face of the rebellious god, until he turned into nothingness. The Yashio lineage has achieved a brilliance that can never be surpassed, and its name is the rebellious Yashin. Shan at the same time, the great heavenly calamity has fully commenced. The heavens and earth are losing color, and a beam of destruction envelopes the Wang Tian. Until this moment, Wang Tian does not understand what Shan is thinking. He has seen countless madmen, yet none can compare to Shan. The heavens collapse, and the earth shatters suddenly. Darkness covers an area of 100,000 miles. Following this, the Duantian cliff emits a dazzling white light, and before everyone's eyes, it completely splits in two. In an instant, the world loses its sound, leaving only black and white. Everyone's actions are shackled, and at that moment, the elites of the myriad worlds are as fragile as infants. That moment, all immortals feel the overwhelming power of the heavens and earth and the size of fate. At this moment, a red light disappears into the space in between. When everything calms down, several months have passed. The battle at Duantian Cliff has become a topic of great interest in the myriad worlds. The demon Lord Wang Tian, wielding the power of a demigod, went missing in the final battle towards the Tao of Heaven. Some say Wang Tian was destroyed by the Heavenly Tribulation. Others claim he has ascended to godhood, and some believe he is severely injured. Regardless, he and the invincible Demon God sword have vanished without a trace. The rebellious Yashin Shan has left no remains, his soul extinguished. This outlier from a humble, small 1,000 worlds was never accepted. Cultivators feared and envied him, and now he has finally disappeared. Amidst the fractures of Duantian Cliff, a sword quietly floats. The sword body has a deep crack, and when the wind blows, it emits a mournful sound, as if crying. Its name is Silent Speech. After this battle, the myriad worlds have entered a rare period of peace. The Fate Mark, a unique imprint of primordial energy that only the immortals of the myriad worlds possess, serves as a symbol of identity and is the most precious existence for cultivators. The Demigod's Fate Mark in the myriad worlds is also known as the Divine Mark, a dream that is forever unattainable for those in the lower realms. And that red light, which breaks free from the power of the laws, will bring. The dawn is always filled with fighting spirit for Wang Meng. A new day begins, and the coming month will be a decisive one. Wang Meng, who almost bounced up, quickly finished washing up. His first attempt to test the Holy Hall's Thunderlight branch ended in failure, but this did not dampen his fighting spirit at all. The Holy Hall is a sacred place for every cultivator. Without a doubt, studying and cultivating in the Holy Hall is incomparable to any other place. The Thunderlight City area is exceptionally rich in spiritual energy, so is fortunate to have a branch of the Holy Hall. Every year during enrollment, it is inevitably crowded. In the preliminary selection, Wang Meng's defeat was expected. The prerequisite for cultivation is to possess a Fate Mark. A Fate Mark is a natural ability that some cultivators acquire under the nourishment of primordial energy. Having a Fate Mark is the foundation for using primordial power, whether in battle, crafting items, or setting up formations. Everything revolves around the Fate Mark with primordial energy as the output, and of course, it must be combined with the correct methods. Thunderlight City has decent primordial energy. Wang Meng, a native, is currently at the second layer of Fate Marks, meaning he possesses 2 Fate Marks. The more Fate Marks one has, the more primordial energy they can store, and the more diverse their usage methods become, naturally making them stronger. Without any cultivation techniques, obtaining a natural second layer of Fate Marks at 16 is already impressive. Joining a small sect will be quite good, but entering the Holy Hall poses a significant challenge. Unfortunately, Wang Meng is determined to enter the Holy Hall. When it came time for the preliminary test, he realized that geniuses were everywhere, and the sword sect he wanted to join was the most popular. Point one, either had to have a natural Fate Mark of 5 layers or above, or possess special talents or considerable sect connections. During the preliminary selection, the youngest participant was only 10 years old, a descendant of a cultivation family with a natural Fate Mark of 6 layers. Those with less confidence could easily be discouraged. It was normal for such situations to lead to elimination. Fortunately, Wang Meng is persistent with a big heart. After witnessing various young talents, he became even more determined to enter the Holy Hall. If he was going to do it, he would do it to the best of his ability. If he couldn't enter the Holy Hall, his life would basically become a mundane existence of waiting to die. Who is he? Wang Meng, a strong man, a person destined to make a name for himself and carve his name into the Hall of Merit of the Holy Hall. The reality is that the Elder Council responsible for selection gives those who are eliminated but have some unique traits another chance. 1 entry-level cultivation technique, with a month of training. After a month, outstanding candidates will be selected based on their performance. This is the last chance. If he fails this time, he can only participate in the selection again in 3 years. By then, Wang Meng will be 19, with no family ties to support him, and he will have to call a group of teenagers as seniors. Wang Meng feels a sense of urgency. Without a doubt, Wang Meng decides to fight back. He carefully takes out a mirror-like object, the Heartguard Mirror, a low-level item that can be used by anyone with a Fate Mark. It has some defensive capabilities, but it is obviously a cheap item. Wang Meng stares earnestly at the mirror. He spent $50 on this treasure from Street Stall, and it has only one function, which is quite magical. Mirror, mirror, who is the most talented cultivator in this world? Wang Meng asks seriously. The Heartguard Mirror emits a layer of brilliance, and a clear, melodious voice responds. Wang Meng, without a doubt, it is Wang Meng. Wang Meng bursts into a wide grin, repeating, Wang Meng, without a doubt, it is Wang Meng. This is the treasure Wang Meng bought with all his savings and a $10 debt. A good start is half the success. It's time to charge forward. Wang Meng's home is located outside Thunderlight City. His parents are farmers, living each day sincerely and diligently. They are very happy that their son possesses a cultivator's Fate Mark, but they are not overly excited. They only wish for Wang Meng to live healthily and happily doing what he wants to do. Happiness is the most important thing. Having more does not necessarily mean happiness, but they support Wang Ming. Wang Ming's temperament is very different from that of his parents. He has a fire burning in his heart, restless since childhood. Fighting and brawling are commonplace for him. Life is not about length, but about being magnificent. Entering the holy hall and finding a bigger stage is his happiness. Carrying his training tools, Wang Ming arrives at the back mountain, not far from home, to begin his seclusion. This is his exclusive cultivation cave, which is actually just a pit with nothing in it. He found this place after discovering his fate mark, and it serves as a decent place for cultivation. In Wang Ming's words, cultivation relies on spirit and feeling. The cultivation of primordial energy, as the name suggests, is the entry-level technique for low-level cultivators that solidifies one's foundation. Cultivation can certainly grant powers that surpass ordinary mortals, but it is also very dangerous. The purpose of cultivation is simple: to elevate the level of the fate mark and learn how to use it. The more fate marks one has, the better, especially after the 10th layer. For each additional layer, the combinations of fate marks grow exponentially, and the powers that can be used become more complex and powerful. However, improper cultivation methods or random combinations can lead to a fall into madness, resulting in tragic outcomes ranging from becoming disabled to losing one's life. Of course, Wang Ming doesn't need to worry about this with only 2 fate marks. He can't even create combinations. The cultivation methods below the 5th layer are quite tedious and boring. The so-called cultivation of primordial energy involves repeatedly using fate marks to perform the simplest attacks, laying the foundation. But for Wang Ming, this is undoubtedly a manual. This is his first time encountering the correct usage of primordial energy. It's not as complicated as I imagined. Wang Ming almost figured it out at a glance. In fact, it just tells the practitioners how to use their primordial energy. The fate marks have 2 layers, which can enhance strength. After watching it 5 times and pondering for a while, Wang Ming began his dedicated training. Since he decided to do it, he would do it seriously. Wang Ming's method is very simple and direct, even a bit rough, which is to punch against a stone wall, using primordial energy with every punch, hitting one after another until the energy is exhausted. According to the method of cultivating primordial energy, the process of continuous consumption and regeneration can solidify the fate marks, and it may also give birth to new fate marks. That if there are 3 fate marks, the simplest spell can be formed. Just thinking about this made Wang Ming feel a surge of excitement throughout his body, and he no longer felt pain in his fists. In a certain area of the suburbs of Thunderlight City, a dull sound of thumping could be heard every day. But in such a remote place, who would pay attention? A month can feel long or short, but for some people, it is definitely enough to be tedious and torturous. Zhang Xiaojian could hardly believe that the person in front of him was his buddy Wang Ming. The chubby Zhang opened his mouth. Damn, Minggu, you're almost becoming a wild man. That hairstyle is really impressive. So how's it going? Any progress? Wang Ming asked him to call him out at this moment. In order to remain focused, he brought nothing but food. Wang Ming touched Ling's hair and shook his head helplessly. Still at the 2nd layer, Zhang Xiaopang's my talent really not that good. In the last few days, Wang Ming himself felt a bit anxious, but he still forced himself to be calm and persisted in training. To succeed, one must have confidence. Zhang Xiaojian looked at the wall full of bloodstains and then at Wang Ming's hands. Even the chubby guy couldn't help but tremble a bit. There's no need to torture yourself like this. In this life, we're brothers. How about your back? Who dares to bully you? They'll take care of them, bang. Zhang Xiaopang received a loud smack on his forehead. Get lost. With you, I can still mix in some hair. Let's go. No matter what, I'm out. Even if I can't enter the Saint Hall this year, he'll come back in 3 years. A genius who's a bit older is still a genius.